I heard about this program through my friend and supervisor, Kristen Richardson. I was in my last semester at Truett Seminary, and she said, "Hey, have you found out what you're going to do?" I said, "No, not yet." She says, "Well, I got this friend, Jason, who is starting a residency program at his church." And so I said, "All right." She said, "You should apply." And of course, I didn't. Then she asked again, "What are you going to do?" She said, "You really ought to apply." And so she sent me the information, and I looked at it, and I didn't. And then finally, a guy named Craig Nash found me on Facebook and said, "I have a friend named Jason who's starting a residency program. You should really apply." And so I said to myself, I don't know who this Jason guy is, but whoever it is, I'm going to find out. And so I applied, and the rest is history.
What I remember most about meeting Jason for the first time is that Jason talks a lot. He is someone who can carry on a conversation, as we say in the South, with a fence post. I remember at one point being at coffee with him on my very first visit here, and in that visit looking down at my watch and saying, "Oh my gosh, we've been talking for 2.5 hours." So yes, I would say, I think my first take of Jason was, oh, this man can talk a lot. But more importantly, I think my real takeaway is he's someone who invites conversation, someone who makes you feel seen and heard and listened to in those conversations, and someone who genuinely cares about you. And as a woman who's a minister, that was a gift to me. I remember leaving that space and thinking, that's the kind of pastor that I want to be. Someone who makes every person in their presence feel seen, feel heard, feel listened to, and feel cared for.
The biggest hurdle has been my lack of ministry experience, and it's a hurdle I'm still getting over. Pretty much all my leadership experience ministry leadership experience before coming to Second Baptist was during COVID, or just in a little bit after it. So the residency has been a fantastic way for me to get that ministry experience with some extra coaching and guidance before I head on to, be senior pastor, executive associate, whatever I end up doing next. The biggest part of that has been preaching experience. I came in with basically no preaching experience whatsoever. And so over the past year, I really have just felt myself growing in a lot of ways. And a lot of that has come from Jason just nitpicking every single sermon I do and, tweaking little things, suggesting ways I can improve and get better every single time. And so I really appreciate that part about being in the residency.
So I want to tell you a quick story. When I applied to be the pastoral resident here, I was actually already working at a church in Liberty. I was a youth minister at a little church on the outskirts of town. And I applied for the residency and I did not get it. They hired some guy named Emmett instead of me. But they said that they were hoping to have two residents at the church, and if they could make that happen, that they would call me. And I thought they were just letting me down easy. So I was like, yeah, okay, sure, that's fine. And then like 2 or 3 months later, I get a phone call. And it's not from Second Baptist Liberty. It's from some organization called the Liberty Ministerial Alliance. And they were asking me if I would come say a prayer at their Thanksgiving community-wide service. I didn't know this organization. Our church wasn't involved in this organization. I had no idea how they got my name. But I said yes. But then I found out later that Jason Edwards had given them my name, that he had told them about me, this random youth minister, and encouraged them to ask me to have a part in the service. He advocated for me, and I didn't even go to his church. I wasn't even a part of his residency yet. There were no promises. I didn't even know if that would happen. But after just like one meeting with him, he was already doing what he could to support me in ministry, to advocate on my behalf. And that's just the first example in a line of many where he continued to do it. He did it at Second. He did it with CBF. I'm on a CBF committee now because of Jason. I'm making denominational networks. I'm getting more involved in larger church matters. And it's all because Jason supported me and advocated for me. And I'm serious when I say no one else in my life had ever done that, especially not a male senior pastor. I'd never experienced that kind of advocacy and support before. So there is no doubt in my mind that the pastoral residency, and specifically Jason, changed my life, set me on a trajectory that I could never have anticipated. And I am forever grateful for this program and for him. And I'm so glad I get to be here today to honor him.
I think the most important thing that I have learned from Jason in my time as a resident has been just the opportunity to observe him lead people, both our congregation and our staff, to get to observe someone who values teamwork and who knows that none of this revolves around one person, that ministry and church life revolve around all of us and require all of us. It's been a gift to be able to look at him and say, that's the kind of pastor I want to be. One who knows it's not all about me, but one who recognizes the value and the strengths of those around them.
You ever go to the pool and there's always that parent that's right there in the shallow end with the kid who won't let the kid dive down in the water? That's not Jason. Jason will very much easily let you go wading out as far in the waters as you want to go. And when you find yourself struggling and trying to figure out how you got there, he'll gently go out there and pull you back. And then when you say, oh my gosh, this thing was so terrible, what should I do with this? Oh, how should I respond? How should I move forward? And he'll just sit there with this little look and go, And what I learned about that is that as a pastor, sometimes we're going to be in the deep end. And we've got to figure it out by ourselves, even though we're not alone. In other words, that we have people that we can call on who will go out there and help bring us back, and at the same time giving us the freedom to discover and grow together. So thank you, Jason.
Congratulations, Jason, on 15 wonderful years of ministry here at Second Baptist Church. And congratulations to us who are Second Baptist Church as we get to celebrate 15 years of your wonderful leadership, your compassion, and your wisdom in the ways that you so faithfully love and care for our community of faith. Jason, we are forever grateful for you. You are a gift to us, and we are so excited for what the future holds for this congregation and the ways that we know you will be a part of that. Cheers to 15 years. May we be every bit as wise, compassionate, long-winded, and loving as you are to all of us. Congratulations, Jason.
The final thing I would say is thank you, Second Baptist Church, for taking a chance on the then young Jason Edwards as your pastor. And thank you, Jason, for the crazy experiment called Pastoral Residency, of which I am a product of. Thank you both. And Jason, I guess the only other thing I would say is, woo, you done gone and made a name for yourself. You go and tell the world what happened here today. Thanks, Jason. Take care.